I really do get so excited. I call it geeking out, right? I really geek out on the sacred sound and the sound codes and just, the idea of creation. And, this idea of a source of this creation that emanates from source, everything in existence that we experience in this existence, in our existence. So just, when I think of this emanation from source, everything emanates in waves. And, waves of light, waves of sound, and, our eyes can actually perceive because they're taking in waves of light, right? That then gets transferred into information and impulses that our brain can take in and understand. Our ears hear because of the waves that then our ears transfer into sound, right? And we hear. And so there are waves all around us, and there are waves of varying wavelengths and varying frequencies, and everything that we experience in our creation has that, it has some form of wave. It originates as wave. Mm-hmm. And so, we have, that's why we're calling this the ocean of sound. What is the ocean of sound? We're swimming in it. It is, when you think of like radio and all of the different radio frequencies and radio waves that are moving through the air that we don't see and we don't hear without a receiver, right, that can then take that in, and you tune the receiver to a certain frequency and it will take in that information and then play those tunes. Well, our bodies are embedded in this in these waves, in this ocean of waves all of the time, and however we choose to tune our frequencies can determine what we're receiving into our receivers and what tunes we're playing. So how we interact and how we attune ourselves to the sounds within this ocean of sound can have an incredible impact on on our ability to heal, on our ability to awaken to the essence of creation. Right? That's the name of one of your books, right? The Essence of Creation. The Emanation of Consciousness, The Essence of Creation. Those are two of your books that, and that's, I just love that we're doing this together because those are the things I totally geek out on. And, I'm just fascinated with it. And so the sound waves give us that ability to tune in to our own inner experience, our own inner creation, as well as our existence within the greater creation. And really, it gives us healing, awakening, really like awakening our consciousness to the greater consciousness existence, and, increasing our knowledge of the divine essence. And, you were saying some other things that accessing guidance and, really tuning into our innate nature and our connection with the divine. Accessing inner peace, inner harmony, all of these things. So it's very exciting to offer this program that offers a deep dive. It's something I've been wanting for a very, very, very long time, to really take the deep dive, the deeper dive into the sounds, the sacred sounds, and the qualities of the sounds themselves and what the sounds mean and how they move through nature and creation. And that's what you're going to help us with in this program. So I'm very excited and grateful.
You really gave a very beautiful metaphor about how it's all waves, and then we are like the radio receiver. So how sometimes when you don't adjust the channel well, all you hear is noise and interference. Right. And if you think of the human condition, we are bombarded by images and also by sounds all day long, and also the sounds in our own mind. These are subtle sounds too, words and thoughts, and so they are also popping randomly. So it's like noisy, it's very noisy. So you have to really,
on the line.
Yeah, you have to really have some tools to adjust your channel so you can receive what you're really looking for, whether it's guidance or peace of mind or rest or healing or clarity or anything like that. So when we look at nature, we can see, like, our Gnostics looked at nature and saw how sounds get produced, at least as a sound that is within our hearing range,
Right.
So they found that sounds happen naturally, and they happen by four ways. Either things collide together, like even when you clap your hands, you're colliding your hands together, you produce sound. When you knock or hammer something, you produce a sound by collision. When you say ba, now we're talking about letters, you are colliding also. There is a collision that happens between the two lips. So this is one way sound is produced. Another way is through splitting. For example, if you split or cut a piece of paper, you hear a sound. If you unzip or zip, you hear a sound. So sound comes from splitting also, such as when you say, you're like splitting open. So this is one of the Arabic sounds. Sounds can happen also through vibration, such as when you vibrate a chord in a musical instrument. So similarly, the human vocal system can produce all collision, vibration, and splitting and friction. All of these can produce sounds. So we are a replica or a microcosm of the macrocosm. So we have everything that can produce these sounds just as they exist in nature. And actually, human beings learned how to name things by the divine, who put in us this ability to name things by imitating their sounds. So we imitate the sounds or the vibration in nature in order to come and combine these sounds together to form words. So for example, even in the English language, you see that knock has the knocking sound, sizzle has the sizzling sound, tick-tock imitates the clock, and zip imitates the zipping sound. And what makes the language sacred is the ancient languages, because these ancient languages were more in tune with the natural world itself, not like human-made things, which we also got the name, so it's a good thing. But the natural world itself, as it is created, by God, you find these natural sounds, the sounds of birds or animals or the waterfalls or thunder or wind. So we, the human being, try to name these phenomena and produce similar sounds and then combine it together to form a more eloquent description that carry meanings. And this meaning making is a special ability for humanity. And this meaning making is very essential for our well-being, to live a meaningful life, a purposeful life, a fulfilling life. It's very important that we know how to deduce meanings from all events and everything we see and experience, and even from difficulties. So the more you get meaning, the more you will be able to achieve healing and wellness. So even recent psychological research says that. So these sacred sounds from which we formed the names of Allah, the beautiful names of God, which are 99 divine qualities that manifest in nature and within ourselves. And so these particular letters, sounds, have qualities. Each letter has a quality and an effect. And so when we reduce and listen to these qualities, we can experience this effect within ourselves.
Okay. Can I interject something there, just for people that aren't familiar with the teachings? The
Sure.
teaching, a couple of things, because you talked about that the names of everything were put into us basically when our life force energy was breathed into the physical form. So it's a part of, as the poet Rumi says, you're not a drop in the ocean, you're the ocean in a drop. So when your drop of ocean was breathed into this physical body, it's like your drop contains all of the knowledge of the entire ocean. So everything is within you, and that's a part of, like, all of the names of everything in nature and in creation is already inside of us. So that knowledge is there. So as we're playing with these sacred sound codes that emanate the sounds that are found in nature, we're awakening the knowledge from within ourselves that was already put into us. And so that helps with our, like, awakening and increasing our knowledge and increasing our own, like, connection with our innate wisdom and our divine connection. So that is one thing I wanted to say. And then when you talked about the divine names of Allah, this is the 99 names. The first, as creation, the layers of creation come into being. When I talk about that original source, there is an emanation in waves. And there are, as a like a first layer of emanation from God, is the attributes of God, the qualities of God, that such as compassion and mercy and love and peace and all of these beautiful majestic qualities of God, that the ones that we really desire and feel and fall in love with. And these are called the qualities of God. And in any list of qualities, we call them the 99 names. Really, they are infinite, but we talk about them in lists of 99. And so, these qualities of God are made from these sacred sound codes coming together to form the meaning of these divine names. And as Amany, I'll let you continue to talk about how, because you were about to say how the sounds each have their own qualities, and then they come together to form the divine names and to really teach us about the the qualities of the divine.
Yes, like if you take any of the divine qualities, such as the quality of protection, for example, you find that every creature, let us look at the living creatures, they have the quality of protection. So some of them are protected by camouflage, some by spreading bad odor or stinging or even electric shock, some by hiding or flying or digging under the ground. Each has their own way, or they exhibit that protection in a specific way. And even if you look at things like the earth itself, you find that it has a magnetic field, and this magnetic field filter the particles that are coming from the sun to take only the particles that serve its existence and serve the life in it. So that layer of magnetic field is a protective layer. Similarly, in the atom, in the galaxy, in the sun, in the stars, wherever you look, you will see this quality. So when we talk about the 99 qualities, we're talking about these powers or energies that govern the universe and interact together in perfect harmony to keep the universe in a balance and harmonious ways, contained in the mercy, the deep mercy, or the love, the compassion. So the love is the creative force and the transformative force. So each of these qualities has a name in the Arabic language, and this name, of course, are formed by letters. So these letters that form the name, each letter in itself has qualities. And these qualities, they combine together to form the word that imitates the phenomena in the physical creative world. So you are tuning your radio when you invoke that name to these kind of powers, to be in tune of it and in surrender to it, so you can be contained by it, guided by it, protected by it, and giving meaning, giving guidance, giving peace, and so forth. So each letter holds about 5 qualities, or some of them 4, some of them 6 qualities. Wow. You know, for example,
each letter, each individual sound,
yes,
that many qualities,
carry qualities. So I'll say, like, just a brief example, the letter fa, you know, fa in Arabic language, or f in English language. So it has the sound of, so it has a whisper. It's a subtle energy, because the air kind of linger and goes a little longer after the sound ends. And this subtle energy, you are, you know, blowing something into the air, that you're giving to God something, you're giving to that. And most of the verbs that start with that name in Arabic language, they have the meaning of digging. You know, when you dig, you take something and you throw it away, and you have an empty space, like a hole. So this hole can be filled. So when you say the fa sound in one of the beautiful names of Allah, you're saying the fa sound, you're actually giving something to the divine source and emptying yourself to be filled by the divine source in a very subtle way, with whatever your heart is needing, and whatever the divine sees fit for you at this moment, to help you heal, or be guided, or have a peace of mind, or be giving, like, wisdom, you know, something you are tuning your heart for, or to be forgiven and get rid of the feeling of shame and guilt that you have been holding, or having the courage to go and apologize for someone and ask for forgiveness. So these are subtle energies, and it's a meditative way when you sit and invoke the names and with their sounds in a specific way and prolong the letters. That's why ancient language are sacred, because you are able to prolong some of the letters and the sounds. And so it's a meditative, contemplative state of being, or a state of mind, that allow you to receive, because you're tuning your radio channels. So this give you an example of what we will dive into a little bit, inshallah.
Yeah, so I think I'm wearing the appropriate shirt right here. There's like this but I just want to invite people to take a second now, or take a minute now, and just be with that sound of the wow, you know, and like feel, like, make your intention and to feel that, like, how it's like digging and opening a part of you to be filled, you know. And Amany, you may have something different, but, like, you know, I think of, like, the name Fatah, and the Fatah is like the opener, and it's like, you know, what I've learned, and you may be, I know you're going to teach us way more than what I've learned, but like that is like the mystery, that that quiet mystery, and at the end is like the breath of spirit, and so when you think of like
yeah,
and elongate that and just let that open, a part of you, and then drop in that and let that part be filled with the mystery. There's always more of the subtle mystery within the ocean of sound, within the ocean of consciousness. There's that poem, another Rumi poem that says, these forms we seem to be are cups floating in an ocean of living consciousness, right? Cups floating in an ocean of living consciousness. What we are is ocean, too near to see, though we swim in it and drink it in. And he says, don't be the cup with the dry rim. So, just like think of your cup opening to be filled with the divine mysteries. And, this really is increasing your knowledge, giving you knowledge, filling you with knowledge, or awakening you to the knowledge that was already a part of your life force energy that gives consciousness into your physical body, right? Our teacher used to say, of course you are spirit, because when the spirit leaves the body dies, right? So you are spirit. You are that. Your spirit is that breath of source that contains, it's the ocean in the drop. It contains the knowledge. And so like, let yourself open and let that opening be filled with that mystery and that breath of the divine, and it's just, it's so I'll just, introduce the class that we're offering here, the Ocean of Sound, because this is what we're going to do. We're going to take these individual letters, and as Amany said, each one has 4 to 6 qualities. We're going to learn the qualities of these sounds, of these letters, and how they're emanated in nature, how they're emanated within us to help us to really understand nature and the natural flow of things and order of things, and the powers of the divine as it moves through, as it creates nature and moves through nature and through us. And we'll be learning, or the classes are going to have 2 parts. There's 2 a month. One is going to be really learning the knowledge, and then the other one is going to be the experiential, really diving in and playing with these sounds and letting the sounds ripple through, your body is 70% water. And when you introduce sound, vibrate sound through water, the water will ripple, right? The sound creates ripples in the fluid. And so we're going to spend time bringing those sounds into the body and letting them ripple through the fluid body and awaken the knowledge from within, and also introduce more of the knowledge into the body. So, it's like it's an outer experience and an inner experience. As another thing our teacher used to say is like, really letting the inner awaken and also receiving the outer knowledge until there is no inner and no outer, but there is just one existence, and one divine existence, and everything is a reflection of the divine. And it's a beautiful experience of, it's a healing experience. It's an awakening experience. If you're, there's so much craziness going on in our world right now. Like Amany said, if we're not attuned, we're going to hear a lot of static and a lot of unpleasant noise in our field. And that really takes us out of our ability to be at peace and, and live in harmony. And right now we're going through some incredibly challenging times where taking the time to tune into these places, to tune our dials to the channels that are going to help us to, have a greater understanding of what's going on, so that we can move through this times that we're in with more peace and more harmony and more flow and more understanding. There is one of the divine names, also that is, there are several names for forgiveness in the among the divine names, and there is one that is Ghafoor. And Amany, would you like to pronounce it correctly?
Ghafoor.
Would you say it again?
Ghafoor.
Yes. See, this is, and Ghafoor, it's like, it has that quality. One of the teachings is like, when we talk about light and darkness, really light is just that which we are aware of and which we know. Darkness is that which the light has not shined on it yet, so we don't know. So this quality of Ghafoor is a forgiveness that like really helps to shine the light on those places of constriction and stuckness that where we have not had complete knowledge and have not been aware of. And it's like at a soul level, so that our soul can really get the life lessons and soul teachings that we're here to receive in this life, so that we can expand our knowledge and have a more integrated understanding. And it's that level of forgiveness that allows us to move forward in wholeness and in unity and in connection. And so, and I know Amany is going to enlighten for us much, much more about the individual qualities of the letters, and we'll be able to play with those and how they come together to inform us and teach us our mental knowledge and our just our awakening the inner understanding of it, so that we can be integrated in our knowledge and move forward with there's a lot to be said for the inner knowledge and the outer knowledge, the mental and the innate awareness being integrated. We can move forward and move through the world in a more holistic way. And it's just, yeah. I mean, it's incredible the gifts that come through this practice and through this study. And so, Amany, is there anything else that you wanted to say about that? I feel like I kind of took over there.
I think, next, the first class, we will be talking about the divine quality that has 3 letters, so it will be easier for people to absorb, which is the quality of Al-Afu, the one who absolves you of all your mistakes, or the sense of guilt and shame, or sometimes also the bitterness that you can absolve someone else or forgive someone else. So it's a liberating and freeing and returning peace to your inner core of being. So it has 3 letters only. So we'll be talking about each of these letters and their qualities. Then we will do a little practice, invoking the name, invoking the letters, the name, and receiving its effect and the divine response that comes from tuning yourself to receive, because the divine qualities are always here and accessible. It is just we don't tune our radio channels. So once we invoke the divine, then we tune ourselves to that and open ourselves to receive that absolving. We get absolved and get dissolved in the divine kind, returning to our innate nature, to our spiritual nature or pure awareness. The life force, it becomes invigorated and ready for something new. And that is what we need in this stage that humanity is going through, as you mentioned.
Yes, it certainly is. And, this is an example of another name for forgiveness, and I love that we're starting with this name, because it is, like you said, with where we are right now in the evolution of our consciousness and our earth and our, you know, collective of humanity. I think this is just really a perfect one to begin with, so that, you know, because we do need to be moving forward in a way that releases us from so much of our templating and our patterning of the past. So I'm really grateful that we're starting there. And so I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. And, you know, there's each one of these letters, there's so much more to it that that we're going to be getting into and playing with and experiencing, like, you know, how the letters and the vibrations, how they're like how they manifest in the body as well as in nature, and, you know, through the whole thing. So there's just an incredible opportunity to explore and kind of, you talked about digging, excavate into the mysteries of creation and the mysteries of the divine that are here for us to explore and to discover. And just that knowing that there is always more to the mystery. We're going to be getting together and do this on an ongoing basis once a month. And it will never run out of things to explore within the ocean of sound. So I'm so grateful. And I want to put out a direct invitation to anyone who, to you listening here, if this calls to you, then join us. Please join us. It's going to be, Amany and I are both very easy and approachable, and we love interaction with people. We want to, you know, we want to learn from your experience as well. And so there's time built in for this, for interaction and for sharing and for, you know, for really like integrating in the experience and each gleaning our own wisdom from it. So I hope that you will join us for this. theoceanofsound.com is where you can find more information. Our first class is March 15th. And like I said, we're going to be doing 2 classes a month, one knowledge-based class, one the experiential dive class, and it's going to be ongoing. So please join us. Don't miss any. Don't miss any. Join us on March 15th. And at theoceanofsound.com, we're really excited to take this dive with you and swim in this ocean with you.
Thank you, Mastura, and I'm looking forward to see everyone. It's going to be exciting. Yes.
Yes, it is. All right. Thank you all so much. We'll see you there.